Hello and welcome again to Montage of Singapore. We apologize for the technical issue that just happened earlier, but well, we're right here and we have been eagerly looking forward to getting back on the connection. Well, once again, a very warm evening welcome, and of course, this is Masti Media Network and my name is Renuka. In case you guys are wondering where I've been for the past many weeks, well, I've been right here, not in front of the camera, but definitely behind it, watching you guys and every move that Meg had been making on the sets, of course. This is episode 9 of Montage of Singapore, and I must tell you, the last 8 episodes have been absolutely amazing. We started on the 23rd of April, and since then, we've actually moved on beautifully with a wide variety of residents and ethnicities. We've met with corporate leaders, we've met with entrepreneurs, of course, we met with a variety of people who represent different tiles of the montage that is slowly building up and coming to you in different ways and forms. Well, what's going to happen? Everyone has been bringing their own essence. What's happening now? Well, I must tell you guys that when the society widens, different people take different roles of community champions. Now, who are we left with? What kind of people are really on our show today, and how do they take the lead? We're going to figure that out in just a little bit. But first, let's take a look at what happened yesterday on the show on the sets of Montage of Singapore, episode 8.
Hi everyone, welcome to Montage of Singapore. I am Mehak with you. That she's a firecracker woman who's a business leader in so many ways, and she roots for other women in business in Singapore. With us, a very warm welcome to you, Joyce.
Thank you, Mehak. At a later stage, there came a proposal to form a Lisha Women's Wing. So I formed the committee, and I was very determined that I'm going to do something really different. My focus was to uplift women and empower them. We conduct the year-round events of month-long celebrations of Pongal, Deepavali. So we have, it's always very fascinated for the other races to come into Little India during these times.
Yes.
I mean, how to do without nasi lemak. Yeah, apart from food, the clean water from the tap, where you can just drink.
You're a good
And
girl.
I'm glad my dad actually chose Singapore at the age of 14, right? I'm so glad he did not go anywhere else, but he chose Singapore. Yes. It's not about just staying within the 4 walls, but actually they come out and then they learn something new, they get some guidance. So when what we offer is being accepted and recognized and beneficial to the people, that is the most heartening thing. Certainly, because racial harmony should be an ongoing thing. It's all about understanding why each other's practice and appreciate. The youth are the ones who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. They are the ones who are going to shape Singapore. So next episode, we are going to have not 1, but 2 youth, and we are going to listen to their views.
You know what? Tomorrow evening, we have a special episode of Montage of Singapore, which Renuka will be seeing you. This is Mehak signing off.
Youth are the future of our nation and an important part of the social fabric. Welcome back. This is Montage of Singapore, and that's exactly what Joyce Kingsley said right now. Well, what worries me is that when I'm sitting with the youth of today and the future of tomorrow, they certainly do take the energy of you. And you will soon know why I'm saying that. I don't have 1, but 2 guests today, ladies and gentlemen, in the studio and on the sets of Montage of Singapore, episode 9. And I tell you, they are not 2, they're quite a handful. And why do I say that? Well, let's get them on the spotlight and you will know very, very soon why I'm saying that. Shrey and Gauraangi, welcome to the sets of Montage of Singapore. Wow, you guys are quiet. What's going on?
No.
I'm
Shrey?
soaking in the introduction.
Yes. Yeah, basking in the fact that, we are a handful. You know?
Aren't you?
Yes, so we will be today.
So well, why don't we do this, before we get into the details and talk about what you guys have done to deserve to be on these today. Well, let me introduce you. Or rather, why don't you guys introduce yourself? Shrey, let's start with you.
Great,
So,
okay, so
tell us about yourself.
I got a nice little photo that I want to show everyone.
They will never do something as straight as what I expect. You know,
Okay.
all my guests, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, all my guests have always come on the sets and they have introduced themselves. When I say introduce yourself, they just say, my name is this and I do that. But no,
Yeah.
you can't expect them that from these guys.
Of course,
Shrey?
because, as the youth of Singapore, we've got to change the future, right?
Of
we've got
course.
a few different ways of going about this. So I've got this little photo. I don't know
Okay,
if everyone can
a little
see.
photo that we're going to show
Yes,
to our
let's show our
absolutely.
audience. So this photo, a little bit about it, it's one of my earliest performances as a kid.
Okay.
Back in primary school, I was 7 years old, right? And it was a racial harmony performance. And I danced to Mahivi.
You danced to the Hindi Bollywood
yes,
song
Mahivi.
at
in
the
a Singaporean primary school.
Awesome, that's
at 7.
fantastic. I'm
and
impressed.
so that was a big turning point in the photo. If you see, it's with my first ever drama teacher as well.
Aw.
So it was one of those moments for me growing up in Singapore where I felt completely embraced and accepted. And also, it was the seed for my creative endeavors. I started to explore that and I was
Right.
encouraged. So I just thought, that would be a nice little introduction. I'm someone who kind of falls in love with that sense of community that you get when you perform in theater or a TV show or you work on any kind of art
Yes.
with a group of people. And you bring your whole self to it and you're embraced,
Wow, that is so beautifully put, for sure. Do you still remember the moves?
Oh God! The only thing I remember was doing the Mahive.
No, I'll sing for you, you dance.
Oh, so you can sing it?
Yeah.
Sing it. I'll try. I don't think I can remember it.
That's the way.
Oh yeah, it was like
Mahive.
Mahive. Something like that, right? I can't remember. That was like what, 20 years ago? 21?
Welcome back to Montage of Singapore, guys. This is, of course, a show where we talk about community integration and about being embraced by the larger community. Mahi way, clearly. Not Mahi, but my way. That's what he should say. All right, Gauraangi, I believe people call you G.
Yeah, they call me G because it was a little difficult to pronounce my name. So rather than everyone say Gauraangi, Gauraangi, I was like, just G is good.
Yeah.
Because I'm the real OG as well. So I'm going to copy him and
Okay.
introduce myself as well. The youth of Singapore.
Paving the way.
Totally.
Okay, so this is.
So you
my
have a
pic-
photo as well.
I do have a photo.
And
I'll
let's
show it.
make sure that our audience is also looking at the photograph now. Beautiful.
So that's
I've
actually
seen that.
my college, LaSalle.
Uh-huh.
I did a diploma in it,
Uh-huh.
and I also did a degree in it. So my journey in Singapore started in the school, and whatever I have achieved till now, whatever little I have achieved, it's all because of that, because I feel like this school has kind of molded me
How sweet.
and made me who I am.
Uh-huh.
Because at first I lost a lot of confidence in the school, and then I gained all the confidence back.
So why did you lose the confidence?
All right, so we're going deep in the conversation then.
We are.
We are. So what happened was I finished my O-levels in India, okay, fresh out of school, wide-eyed, innocent eyes, comes to Singapore, and then comes to LaSalle. Yeah, I'm going to an acting school, art school, and there are people from various nationalities in my diploma acting program.
Yeah.
And various age groups as well. I was 16 when I joined, and I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. But then what happens is that we're all kind of understand each other's cultures, and we're trying to adjust with each other. So when that happens, it becomes a little difficult. For me, it got a little difficult to adjust with everybody, to know what was happening, to get the accent. Probably that's a very minute reason. But then in my first year, I remember I was bullied, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to be in this school, and I just want to go back. But the acting classes, the voice classes, and whatever courses we had, that just made me realize that I love this a lot more than all of these other hindrances. And it's fine, Once I understand what acting is and what this art is, I think this is just nothing, and I'll go through it. Yeah.
4 years later, you had so many friends.
Yeah, I mean, even in that was just the first year. In second
Right.
year, you find people who you can bond with.
Of course.
And then they were all very supportive as well. So it's just the first year that's always difficult for anybody.
So if I were to ask you that,
Sure.
you know, from those times, if you
Yeah.
were to change something that you did wrong, which you know now look back and you could have done it different.
Yeah, I think
What would it be?
now I'm much more open than I was previously. Because, you know, what happens is when you're living in India, you're always like, oh, that person is smoking, that person is bad. Yeah, you keep on judging people. So then, even when I came to Singapore,
You
I
were
was like,
still
oh, I
judging.
shouldn't be talking to that person. Oh, that person's bad. But then you eventually grow, and then you understand, you know, it's okay, whatever they want to do, they do it. You do whatever you want to do. So little instances like that, probably.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just more open now, which is great.
Awesome. So that's what Singapore's taught you, and that's what LaSalle actually taught you.
Yeah.
Shrey, coming back to you, tell me something. You moved to Singapore when you were just 1,
Yes.
right?
as
So
a
you
baby.
hardly remember anything of India or any other part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back to India to visit my family. You know,
Right.
my nana, nani are all there.
Yeah.
So I have experiences in India, but limited experiences.
Okay.
But growing up in Singapore, you know, I've always considered Singapore home.
Yeah.
You know, so.
So did you also face such challenges, you know, while growing up? Because you were here right from the beginning. Of course, G moved here, although I can
Well-
say the full name very well, but yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, my challenges were more personal. I felt because my home was so Indian,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But outside is all Singaporean. So they were both deep parts of me, and I think growing up, it was coming to terms with the fact that there are these two big parts of me, and not shunning one or the other,
Right.
and kind of embracing this Rojak, you know, identity of mine.
That's true.
But I never really felt like I was kind of an outsider in Singapore. I kind of always felt like I'm Singaporean
That says a lot.
growing up.
That says a
so
lot.
never really had that kind of a struggle.
Awesome. So, well, let's look at both of them. One of them, of course, was from India. Another one, pretty much, I can say, born and brought up, but for a -1 year that happened. So, very well embraced. But eventually, the two of them are enjoying Singapore. That is the beauty and the essence, I would say, of the country and this little dot that we live on. But definitely, I must tell you guys, we're going to take a short break here. We're going to be back with the joy of Singapore. And let's figure out what makes these people stick around as much as it does to us, right? That is Singapore for you. The joy of Singapore in just a little bit. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back. And
Welcome back to the Montage of Singapore. Right here. Welcome back to the Montage of Singapore. I'm Shrey.
And I'm Gauraangi.
And-
And today
We have the joy of Singapore with us.
yeah, hi.
Hi everyone, I'm also around. I told you, with these guys I have to be a little bit extra careful because they might just take over my red couch anytime. I'm not leaving this today, I promise you. But you know what? The joy of Singapore is all about getting closer to each other. And of course, snatching and chopping each other's work as well. That is included. But here, I thought that usually when we go through all these episodes, right, what we do usually is that I throw a few questions at you guys and then you sort of answer, and these should be tricky questions and trickier for you guys. But then today, we'll do it different.
Okay.
Since we have two amazing artists, right, what I plan to do is that I'm going to be giving you a situation, all right? A situation, don't look at me like that. And it's just going to be a very simple situation. You two have to role play,
Okay.
okay? So,
Okay.
our first guest, I remember, Miss Sim, she said that as a Chinese, she loves Holi and she wished that she was a part of, you know, the culture which celebrates Holi. So, well, today we have somebody, and let that be you,
Okay.
who doesn't like Holi.
Yeah.
Okay, and just looking at all the Indians play Holi and the community sort of messing around with colored faces is like, what? You know, how do these guys do this, right? That
Okay.
kind of a look. And then here we have somebody who's over enthused about playing.
Oh, great.
Yeah?
Love it.
And then you have to make sure that you are able to put some color on her eventually. And happily. There's not going to be any kind of force here, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So let's go. You guys have 2 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, let's do this. Holy hair! Nadia! Oh, you showed up? I'm so glad, guys. This is Nadia. She's a great friend of mine, back from school. From primary school, was it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And
Okay, can you not introduce like that?
okay, what's the issue?
Just tell me where the guy is. I've not come for Holi. I just want to meet the guy.
Right, you were just interested in my cousin,
Yeah.
Ratish.
What? Ratish?
Yeah. Oh, now you didn't even know his name.
I.
Okay, fine. I told you he was going to be here. He is here. I know this party is pretty big. I'll get him to you, okay?
Okay.
But come on, you have to play Holi first, right? Come on, let's have some
No,
color.
no.
Why? What's wrong?
No, I don't want color.
Why? Colors are so beautiful. They're red, green, blue,
Yeah,
yellow.
I just took a shower. I don't want any color.
Oh, you're scared that Ratish won't like you in all these colors.
He won't recognize me with the color.
Please, look, you're wearing such bright blue, nice, polka dotted. A little bit of red on your cheeks is going to do you well, right? It'll help. Come.
No. I just don't want color.
Okay, fine. But you know why we play with colors on Holi, right?
No.
Okay. So we are just like celebrating all the diversity. You know, it's actually a celebration of the harvest. Right? So it's like a huge celebration of all the goodness that is to come and the happiness that we're all going to be enjoying. So it's like a blessing.
Okay.
You know, so you have to have a bit of color. Just a little bit. Okay, fine. You don't want color? Put some color on me. Choose.
sure?
Yeah, whatever. Any color.
Yeah?
Yeah, isn't that fun? Come on.
Like in your entire face?
Anyway, go. I'm right here for you. Come on.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, and you have to say, Holy hair!
Holy hair!
Okay, Ratish.
All yours. All right, well done, guys. I'm very, very, very impressed with that talent for sure. This is spontaneous and this is amazing. I love
You
it.
want some color?
No, not today. All right. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I was trying to derive out of this. That, the thing is that we come from different communities in Singapore and we do have some amazing festivals, and the energy at those festivals is like buzzing, right? And why not embrace and why not kind of make sure that we explain? I don't know how much logic there was in whatever his explanation was, but well done. And then, of course, the cousin plays a very important role. So we should always try and bring out the nice guys of the family, the nice ladies of the family, and then, of course, at the same time, teach how to
And I
embrace
feel
each
like,
other's cultures.
we can't ever force anyone
Absolutely.
to get involved in our cultures or like embrace it, right? But I think
Exactly.
sometimes using humor or, using fun or trying to find a way,
It works.
sometimes
It
that works. So
Exactly.
try not to force people to.
So which festival did you guys start celebrating after coming to Singapore like it was your own? Obviously, it's not a part of your cultures, but still, I want to know about,
Well, for me, it would be
Chinese
Chinese
New
New
Year
Year for
yeah?
sure. Because, my fiance is Chinese.
Aha.
So, I've been completely, embraced in that. And it's a beautiful, beautiful celebration.
You better be.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, and it's great, and learning the significance of the offering of the oranges and things like
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
you just do a little bit of that, and when you're able to embrace others' cultures, they embrace you wholly as well.
Completely.
Yeah.
That is.
Does she play
beautiful.
Holi?
She does. She loves Holi.
Okay,
So it's
awesome.
great.
So we've managed to embrace a few. Absolutely. So let me ask you, Gauraangi, my
Yeah.
question to you is that if you were to leave Singapore,
Okay.
okay, what would you miss the most and what would you miss the least?
I'd actually miss the walking paths and the trails and the greenery a lot, and the calmness that Singapore brings to you, because that's something that's missing in India, because that's where I keep on going
Yes.
to and fro. So that I'll definitely miss a lot. But something that I'd not miss is the limited vegetarian options. I definitely
my
not
God.
miss that.
Really? But still, you should have come here when I moved to Singapore. Just when I came for a holiday to Singapore, rather, many years ago. I won't tell you when. So that's when he's giving me a very judgy look still, G.
No.
So,
You look 16.
yeah, thanks. Almost. Then what happened, at that time, all you had was Little India, Serangoon, for the vegetarian stuff, right? The rest of Singapore was all very, very difficult. In fact, there was seafood everywhere. So it was kind of tough. But now, if you're complaining, come on.
Yeah, there are quite a few like vegetarian, vegan restaurants.
There are, but I want more.
I think the issue is accessibility, right? To be able to
Right.
just go to your hawker center and find
Yeah,
that
just
vegetarian
find
option.
That's
something.
true. There's
That
limited
level of
choice.
ease,
Yeah.
which the rest of Singapore has, I suppose.
Very
Yeah.
good. So what about you then?
Well, I think, okay, depends where I go. So where I go will dictate what I miss.
No, you're just
But-
leaving Singapore. Stop being so
Okay, fine,
picky.
Fine. Okay,
Yeah.
I think in general, ironically, I would miss the freedom in Singapore.
You would miss the
Oh, yeah.
freedom.
And when I say freedom, I mean safe freedom.
Yes.
Because the ability to go out at night and not feel a sense of like you need to watch yourself
Yeah.
or be careful.
Absolutely.
I think Singapore just has this. You can trust everyone. There's a level of trust within the community. Even if you don't
Exactly.
speak to people or whatever, everyone's doing their own thing. But still, there's a level of trust that if anything were to happen or if you're in danger, people will help.
Yeah,
People will
true.
be there. So
true.
I think that you can't really find anywhere else.
And also, if
Yeah.
someone picks up something that you've left in a,
Oh, yeah.
in a
You're
place,
most likely
the
gonna get it back.
cameras will guide you to the person very quickly. So,
Oh, yeah.
is that something that troubles you as the young? You know, because a lot of people your age, when I talk to them, they tell me that, you know, we don't like being watched everywhere. So is that something that troubles you?
See, I lived in the States for 4 years while I was
Uh-huh.
training for
Yeah.
acting and cinema, right? And at that time there, that's when I realized the level of surveillance Singapore has, the
Uh-huh.
trade-offs. Yes, you feel like, okay, you know, you're being watched or whatever. But I think on a deeper level, the level of safety that you get, it's unparalleled.
It's worth it.
Yeah, because in the States, I had situations where, you know, there was a active shooter situation in school. It turned out there wasn't a shooter, but the fear is so real.
Oh my God.
You know, I had fellow students in schools who got shot because they got into the wrong company around the area. So like that, those are real scary concerns,
Oh my God.
which
I
we don't have to
completely
deal with here, you know, and
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
trade-off is fair.
Yeah, well, that is the youth of tomorrow, youth of today, and the future of tomorrow talking. If I tell them the youth of tomorrow, they're going to kill me. But on Montage of Singapore, guys, I'm absolutely delighted to have this company on the show today because I know that these guys are going to keep you glued to this episode for sure. So, well, we'll have more of them, but first, let's take a look at what we have for the audience because we can't leave you guys out, right? After all, I am still looking for that one special audience that's going to come and be on this yellow couch in the next few days. So, it's time for Singapore's trivia for the audience. All right, so we've been having different questions week by week, and I see that we're getting loads of answers, but still not that one clear winner. So why don't we do this, guys? I'm going to read today's question to you. Of course, you heard it over the weekend as well, and it is the same question. But, well, let me read that out for you, and let's see if you can send your answers to us right away on the comments box, or else write to us separately by downloading Radio Masti 24/7, and of course, sending email or WhatsApp or whatever you feel comfortable with from there. The question that we have is, which part of the Singapore flag symbolizes universal brotherhood and equality of man? Is it the crescent moon? Is it the white part? Is it the red part? Or is it the 5 stars? Very simple question. We all know the answer. Let's get it from you right away. And of course, if there is something that you want to comment on today's show, well, the comments box is right there and I will be looking forward to hearing from you. But before that, let's move on to the community champions section because I gotta ask, what are these guys doing for the rest of the community? Let's find out.
Available anywhere across the world with the app Radio Masti 24/7. The 24-hour station offers a vast variety of programs filled with local, global and Indian content along with Bollywood gossip and updates. Make sure you add Masti to your lives. Download the app today and stay energized and connected on the go. Radio Masti 24/7 Live, Singapore's only Bollywood radio since 2009.
welcome back to the show, guys, and of course, a warm welcome to my two amazing guests as well. Is it tough to be seated for 20 minutes?
Oh, yeah, of course. I need to do the 5 basic exercises.
Yeah. To do some yoga, stretching.
Oh my God, first world problems, as they say, for this. May I call you millennials or?
I am officially a millennial, yes.
You are, and you
based
are
on-
Gen Y.
I'm a Gen Z.
No. Which year are you born?
Z.
See, 99. Oh,
99s are Gen Zs, right?
yeah.
I just missed by 1 year. It's
You're
okay,
like the
millennials.
older Gen Z.
I'm the older Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Thank God.
Look at him, he's
99s.
already Gen Z's.
No, I
So I'm
love
not
Gen Z. I love you.
2000.
I love you, Gen Z.
I'm not
if you're
2000,
watching.
I'm 99. That's good.
Okay, perfect. Whatever you guys are, welcome to the show.
What are you?
What ooh? What is that?
I'm just like,
No,
oh,
what
like
was
she
this
dared to
ooh?
ask that.
Yes, I'm not.
Hey, look, I used to listen to your shows when I was, young.
When you were?
Yeah, like
I
you know,
started.
before I could even drive, you know, I could listen to 96.3.
I doubt you can still drive, but that's no criteria. I
No,
just.
what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
you're a legend.
I'm a legend now.
yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
correct,
God.
correct.
Where
Yeah.
am I supposed to hide? I'll hide right
Millennial,
after this show,
Gen Z
guys.
and legend.
Welcome back. All right, so on this show, guys, and during this particular segment, we actually talk about community champions. So, of course, we have different kind of people who are contributing to the community and in different ways, right? They're right there on the ground. But first, let me ask the two of my very special guests today, what kind of community work do you guys do? Why don't I start with you, Gauraangi? So, tell me, do you believe in community work? If so, what have you done for that?
Oh, definitely. I think through LaSalle, LaSalle gave me the opportunity to understand Singapore better and also go and look at all these communities and do something for the country. So in the sense, I remember making a documentary on teenage pregnancy while I was in LaSalle. And I also did a film actually, which is on Netflix. It's called Before Life, After Death. So the reason I chose teenage pregnancy was because my character was of a teenage pregnant girl, right? So when I chose to use that topic, I was like, all right, now where do I start? Where do I begin? Then I found these organizations called Babes and many other safe houses that the government has provided. And I found a subject as well, and I realized, okay, there are a lot of people who are teenagers and pregnant in Singapore, and this is an issue that does exist
Of
here.
course.
And I thought, okay, let's make a documentary on it and voice out their issues.
And how old were you then?
This was in 2021, so I
Okay.
was 21, around 21 years of age. But before that, I had some really fun performances that I did for old age homes, where I performed Kathak. So there were all Chinese and Malays in the old age homes, and then I performed Kathak, and they were just intrigued by the performance and, oh, what's this new art form? And so it was fun. That was a lot of
Wow.
fun.
That's a lot at that age, yeah, and I'm pretty impressed by that. So, different ways of giving back to the community. What about you, Shrey? You have actually, I wanted to talk about this also before we get into what you've done for the community. You have been a part of national service
Yes.
in the country. And of course, coming from, India, where national service is not a part of your overall growing up, how did how were you really groomed for it? And did you not have a moment when you said, why am I supposed to do it? If I was in India, I would have not done it. You know,
Yes,
that
yes,
initial hesitation.
And a lot of my peers as well, who were PRs
Yes.
and then had to make that decision whether to do NS or not. It was a big thing. I actually made a film about it as well, a short film
okay.
exploring that. It's called My Home Singapore ?
Okay.
It's on Vitsy and you can check it out. But it explores that, like when you have that choice, what do you do with it? Right? Do you leave and then not have the chance to come back, or come back only as a tourist, or do you be the first in your family to do it? So for me, it was quite clear, having grown up in Singapore, that I always wanted to call this place home and have that place to come back to if I ever were to travel abroad. So for me, it was clear, like, okay, I have to do this. and I'll do it. And I was blessed that in my NS journey, I managed to find, the Singapore Armed Forces Music and Drama Company. They're currently known as So Drama Entertainment, but at that
Yeah.
time, they would take in new recruits if
Of
you
course, I know
qualified.
So Drama.
Yes.
That's the Safra.
Yes. So
thing,
they
yeah.
are now So Drama, but they used to
Yes.
be the Music and Drama
That
Company.
is right.
And so I served my NS with them as a host and as an actor. And one way we engaged the communities was a lot of these shows. So we had shows that were within the army,
Right.
but we also had shows that engaged the community. So we had these heartland shows related to the army, but we would create these family days for families to come on Saturdays and Sundays and explore the booths related to the army and just create a good time for them, and also allow them to explore what civil defense would mean. What does it really mean to protect Singapore, but as a family? So even for the kids and the grandparents and so on. So doing that as a host in NS was one of the ways I felt, it was a way of giving back with whatever I could do. Yeah.
Wonderful. My God, you guys have done so much, and your understanding of how important it is to give back to the community is commendable at this stage of your life. And you guys are amazing. And this is the legend talking. Anyway, on that note, I have a question that somebody wants to ask you. So let's have that question on the screen. And then the question here is to both of you that says that how would you view the social connect between local and expat Indians in Singapore? And do your parents have local Indian friends coming over, or Chinese or Malays? So over to you guys.
This is actually a very important question. I think it's very critical to examine this, because even growing up, I did feel sometimes, families or parents, would have their enclaves, and I don't blame them because when you come to Singapore as an immigrant, you're trying to find people to connect to, find that community.
And it's usually birds of a feather.
Yeah,
flock
so
together,
it's
right?
difficult to very openly do that. But one thing that I respect my mum for, what she did within her community, right, in our estate where we stay in Tampines, right, was she would go to anyone and everyone and just wish them a good morning. Even the young kids, right? So now these kids have grown up and they're still like, "Hi, good morning, auntie, how are you?" That kind of camaraderie, that kind of community has been built because she took the initiative to go out of her way to build those relationships.
So if you make the first move, it's
so
kind of coming back.
It's that kind of thing. And we have Chinese neighbors and they're Christians, so like when it's Christmas, I remember going over to their place and we'll give them sweets for Diwali and things like that. Like that kind of integration is there because my mum at least went out of her way to build that. And a lot of times it's easy to stay in a state of fear and not really connect with people.
Yeah, correct.
But if you go out of your way and do that, then people generally open up. So,
Beautiful.
So kudos to my mum for
Absolutely. And as they say, a stranger is a friend in disguise. So you never know, the moment you... What about you? Do you have, your parents have other
my
communities
parents are
coming in?
very, very social.
Oh, wow.
Like extremely social. So
I can see that.
No, trust me, I'm not that social.
But you refused to play Holi a while ago.
Yeah, man. What was that? So my parents are extremely social, and that being said, they're very. I remember we had Vietnamese neighbors and Chinese neighbors and Indian neighbors. So we were closest to our Vietnamese neighbors, and that I know the reason. The reason was because they had two small kids, and my parents love kids. So the kids were always coming to my place playing the piano, like legit every single day.
So
the
sweet.
child would come over, play the piano. We all became great friends. We were having lunches together, dinners. Even now, we might just have a dinner soon too. Now that we've shifted to Yishun, and I was living in Farrer
So
Park.
was it for the piano that they play? I mean, that it's,
I'm sure. I think it was
it's
the
free
piano.
music as well now,
Yeah.
apart from the food.
Yeah, they loved Indian food. Those Vietnamese
Yeah, so
neighbors
see?
loved
Yeah.
Indian food.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't get this in any other part of the world. I mean, not that I'm aware of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that level of subconscious integration, I feel. I think in Singapore, we kind of take it for granted. And like when I went to study in the States, it was quite clear that there were communities.
Yes.
And different
Yeah.
communities. And they coexist. but I think a level of integration that we have, we love each other's foods and
Totally.
we love each other's cultures, and there's a bit of that.
Yeah.
Whether that's harmony or not, I think is a different conversation.
Oh, well, yeah, it's a way to at least
step towards
embrace
that,
each other. Amazing. So guys, we know that on the Montage of Singapore, we talk not only about your direct integration with community, but we also talk about very indirect ways of coming together and appreciating each other's existence right next door, right? Like playing the piano and of course eating the food. And maybe that could be the reason to integrate, but nevertheless, it is still integration, right? We'll take a short break here, and of course it's time for me to say goodbye to my friends here on the sets. I knew this was going to be longer than usual, but stay on. All right, welcome back. And of course, as you see, I have something right here, and not one, but two of them, and they're a little heavy to carry because they are the skyline of Singapore. Cannot be easy and lighter, right? But on radio, not on Radio Masti 24/7 that I'm used to saying, but on Masti Media Network. And of course, this show is supported by National Integration Council. I am delighted to present one of the 13 copies only of this very special Singapore skyline.
Wow.
The colored copy
Love
you
it.
see right here. That's on the sets.
Love it.
And that's a black and white, which is beautifully created by 9 Studios.
Lovely.
Right for you.
Thank you,
And
Nine
of
Studios.
course. And there's another one for you.
Thank you
Shrey.
so much.
And I do hope that these are going to be looking beautiful on your
Yay.
walls wherever.
It's
For
really
sure.
beautiful.
Yes, it
Thank you so
certainly is.
much.
You are
Thank
most
you.
welcome. This will remind you of your beautiful work on the sets here, and of course.
Thank you
So-
for having us.
Oh yeah, you'll get your time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
She's
it was
ready
written.
she's
It
ready
was
to
written.
leave.
She is. But before you guys go, and of course you can thank me again, but before you guys go, I do want you to introduce my next guest,
Okay.
who's going to be here on Saturday.
Okay, well, the next guest that will be here on Saturday is a 4th generation Singaporean, and apart from being a leader in the corporate world, she's also serving as a grassroots leader for the People's Association in Singapore since 2017, and currently is the chairperson for the IAEC Queenstown GRC. There you go.
Awesome. This was wonderful. So now do you guys want to thank me before I say goodbye to you?
Well,
We have to thank the legend.
100%. I mean, just sitting in this couch, being here, dream come true.
Really?
Yes, of course. I mean, listening to your voice on the FM.
And now
When
seeing
you were
in
too
person.
young
Growing up,
and you
know,
could not.
and when I was sitting in the back seat of the car, listening to all those Bollywood tunes. No, but thank you, Renuka, for having us.
Sure,
Yeah.
of course.
Media Masti
Really.
Network, National Integration Council.
So glad to be here, and thank you so much for having
Really?
us. Yes.
And I hope to see you on Netflix and on Amazon, of course,
Yeah.
very, very soon as
You can
well.
already see us.
Yeah, you haven't seen my movie yet
Yeah.
on
You
Netflix.
too?
She's got a movie on Netflix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is on the scroller right there, so don't worry.
And I
Yeah.
have my shows are on Amazon Prime, so you
Of
can
course.
catch them.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Third Rail,
We're stars.
This Land Is Mine,
Yeah.
and the second season of Tito Tao. All on the
Amazing.
same
So the thing is that the stars have been listening to the superstar.
Oh yes.
There you go.
Slay.
Oh
That's
yes.
what we call slay. Do we still say it, or am I outdated?
Sure, you can say slay.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's
you're
a
the
job.
legend. You made the trends, right?
yeah, you make the trends.
You make the trends.
Exactly.
All right, I'm giving up. But thank you so much, guys, for being on the show today. I think
Thank
it's
you.
been amazing. So, well, the Montage of Singapore, guys, is building block by block and tile by tile. As I always say, it is just the beginning. And this is a small effort, of course. The youth have to be heard, right? They have to be empowered. And that is because they have to spark the change. And if we do not give them these platforms, we do not listen to them, we do not understand what's going on their minds, it's not going to be easy to bring about that change and the future of Singapore that we are so looking forward to. Well, we contribute to the society and partner with the social fabric of Singapore and act on issues that really concern the nation with hard work, compassion, and determination. I'm extremely sure that we are in very safe hands when it comes to Singapore, right? On that note, it's been a wonderful evening presenting this show to you. Of course, this is the episode 9 of Masti Media Network's Montage of Singapore, supported by the National Integration Council. And I do look forward to having you guys yet again on another episode, which is going to happen on the 27th of May. And I'm going to have a wonderful conversation right here. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be 6 p.m. Singapore time. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, and take good care of yourselves. Bye.
Yay.